Yesterday, I finally cleared my nails again. Boy, does it feel good. So nice. Feel complete again. They were a little bit too long, so that's great. Oh, it's Saturday. Saturday again. Once again, here we are. I think that today Cake is giga struggling. I don't know why. I don't think I can do anything about that. So, well, well, how that everything is okay eventually with Cake. It's just giga struggling, and that's it. There's much we can do about that. Don't think it's on my side because Twitch appears to be okay, and I do believe YouTube is also okay. So, another day, another kick L. You hate to see it, but it happens sometimes. Well, it was kind of struggling the other day already, wasn't it? When was it? Conquest? Monday. It was struggling on Monday already. I wonder what's going on with that. I don't think I can choose a specific kind of server for them, for the input. So, I don't think I can really fix anything here. Unless you can do that with Twitch. You can choose a closed server. Sometimes it works, even. I guess only sometimes. But it's better than nothing. Oh, we have kind of a bunch of stuff for today. So it might be interesting. Okay, I'm kind of blind. I'm kind of blind. Don't blame me. Don't blame me too much. So how about we get some music running and we'll start going into it finally. Okay, did you choke or are you not working? Ah, you choked again. That's fine. That's fine. It's just giga laggy. I guess that kind of fits some of my arguments for the first story we have today. Well, I guess that can happen. I guess that can happen. Okay. What kind of music do we have for today? I guess we can go to cozy chill music for late at night after a hard day. Of course, Pokemon music. It is not late at night, I don't think. Well, it's gotta be late at night somewhere. But I think chill music, hard day, probably checks out. And as usual, we start with Eternal Force. People love this track for some reason. I mean, it's okay. Can't really blame the guys. It is fine. In fine tuning, as they say. So I guess that's probably okay. Yeah, let me move some of my stuff. And let me bring up my browser. There we go. I was thinking maybe I should clean some stuff here in my sources. I actually use like 90% of them, believe it or not. So, where is it? There we go. So as usual, we're gonna start with some content creator nonsense. I'm gonna be a little bit late to the party though. But I guess that's fine. What? Oh, that's wrong. I pressed the wrong thing. There we go. Asmongold was forced to being banned from Twitch again. Blatant double standard. Well. Isn't that funny? I've seen a lot of people complaining because, this guy doesn't get banned enough. I'm like, shh. I don't know about that. Sure, this guy is not nice. He says mean things all the time. But I don't think he's breaking TOS. Not as much as other people. Asmongold has been banned on Twitch once again with his secondary account, Suck Roar, being taken down following comments on stream. Asmongold's alternative account was struck offline at roughly 8 PM PTM Monday, April 6, 2026. The controversial streamer immediately took to X, formerly Twitter, to lash out against the purple brand. Banned for an entire week because he said something about the opinions of a certain group of people. This is not against TOS. It's clearly not nice, but it's not... how to say this? I don't think it's breaking actually any kind of TOS. So you might disagree with the guy, but this is not a reason to ban him. Legend doesn't disclose specific reasons for bans, but Asmongold believes this is what got his channel taken down for a full 7 days. Prem back at the penalty, and his first for explosive comments, mind you. Last year, it was actually against TOS. You might agree with him, but it was against TOS. Asmongold questioned Twitch's integrity and argued he didn't break the platform's guidelines. But somebody with bans for saying they didn't care about what Americans' opinion is in the Middle East. He asked before answering, of course not. Blatant double standard, and didn't break Twitch's terms of service. That is actually correct. Asmongold bans for a week on Twitch. It's a ban lasting in just a week. Asmongold's account will therefore be reinstated on Monday, April 13th. At the time of writing, the Sakura account itself is still viewable, with written broadcasts, including the April 6th stream that got him banned, is still up to watch. I don't know if that's actually correct from what I'm seeing. I do believe that, I mean, knowing how Twitch works and all that. Okay, hold up, this kick thing is actually pissing me off. I'm gonna finish this stream and I'm gonna restart it. Let's see if it gets fixed or something like that. I'm trying to finish it, it's not closing. Oh boy, it's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Can I just... please? It's not finishing, it's not ending. It's endless. It's an endless stream of nonsense. Well, isn't that just the internet? I think that makes sense. Oh boy. What I was trying to say here is that okay, there we go. I don't think that when you get banned, you get to keep up that VOD. That wouldn't make any sense, right? If you got banned for it, is it possible that you get to watch it again? Isn't it breaking some sort of rule? What a bunch of nonsense. Okay, let's see if Kick gets fixed with this. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Is Kick working now? It better be. Who else? Are we working? I mean, it seems to be working better, which I guess is not difficult. Well, hopefully it stays that way. He'd having to do something like that. But I guess he has been choking for no reason recently. Well, I guess it's fixed. That's nice. Welcome back, Kick. I can't say we love you, but I guess we tolerate you. Maybe better than the purple side. And here's the pit. Understandable. According to the Twitch terms of service, inflammatory or otherwise objectionable content could fall under Section 10. Prohibited conduct. The problem is that you could consider anything, or pretty much anything, inflammatory or otherwise objectionable, which is not helpful, is it? Asmongold was last banned 18 months ago in light of racist comments, similar to his latest remarks. He claimed he had no sympathy for yada yada yada. I don't think this is correct. 18 months ago. Wasn't it 14 because it's April and this was last February? I remember covering that. I don't know. The streamer probably called his last Twitch ban the greatest 2 weeks of his life. April 6, 2026. Comments? Why do you have a comma here? I think that's wrong. I resulted in similar backlash with some arguing he shouldn't have been perma-banned by now. With the disgusting things he said. Yep. Sure, you can disagree with the guy, but... I mean, we have a collection of greatest hits for later, so don't mind. Asmongold responds to Twitch ban. Following his initial comments on X, Asmongold released a video on YouTube detailing his ban and his plans to appeal. And I'm sorry, I said nothing wrong. Nothing he said was against the terms of service. He reiterated. The streamer also questioned why he wasn't issued a warning or even a single day suspension before being hit with a week-long ban on the platform. It was kind of a weird ban, to be fair, because it was not that the channel was out of commission. The channel was still there. He just couldn't stream for a week, which I wonder if that's some sort of new punishment or something like that. Not something you see a lot. That's why I'm curious about it. They made a mistake, and maybe I'll get them banned early. Well, it's the foreshadowing. As been confirmed, he has already submitted an appeal, and that if Twitch doesn't change tune, he will reluctantly follow the rules moving forward. He also said, I'm not gonna play the video, but he also said that he was gonna take the week off, and he did. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? If it's actually an unfair ban, why did you stop streaming? Because I know you also stream on Kick. I'm not saying you have to go to Rumble, for example. You don't have to like Rumble, that's fine. That's okay. You don't have to go to, what else, YouTube? I think he has some sort of special monetization plan with his editor. Okay, alright. Sure. Why are you stopping your activities? Just for no reason whatsoever? It seems like a big mistake. Because now, right now, would be the best way to stick it to the man. He said nothing wrong, so maybe it's time to tell to Twitch, you know what, you made a big mistake, and this will not stand like this. He's gonna keep streaming elsewhere, and maybe he can make or help make other sites better or bigger. Because why would you trust constantly a site that keeps screwing you, that keeps banning people for no reason, but they have the audacity to give common rule breakers on the platform just because they agree with them? Massive mistake. Thankfully, he has been banned. This was 13 hours ago. And banned early, easy. Had some little work done yesterday, assuming it had to pick up. Might take a day or two extra to recover, and then we'll be back. And sure, if you took the time to do stuff, that's fine, that's okay. But I do think this is a massive missed opportunity. And there's this insane edit. I'm sure this is Asmongold with his huge teeth. This could be Rakai. Ooh, that's scary. That's scary. But yeah, in these cases, if you get banned, especially a ban such as this, when you believe you did nothing wrong, it's time to strike while the iron is hot. Big mistake, but I guess it could be worse. Not related to this whatsoever, we have here a tweet from Congressman Randy Fine. Hey, is he actually fine? He could be. This Turkish terrorist is supposed to shout for why birth tourism must be banned. Of course, Democrats can get enough of the guy. Some bankers a jihadist. I don't think that's inaccurate. He has greatest hits here about Hamas, about the red capitalist blood, 9/11, Hezbollah, China, or Soviet Russia. How curious. We're meant to believe this guy is just a bona fide American just because he was born in the land. I don't know about that. But clearly this guy should not be on Twitch. Not when you say shit like this that breaks TOS constantly. But then again, as long as they keep agreeing with the guy, it is impossible to do anything. After all, Twitch has the right to just enforce the TOS how they see fit. Which is, truly disgusting. They will protect this guy constantly. It's endless. Then again, I don't think the actual people at Twitch, not the streamers, but Twitch the company, know anything about their platform, which is a little bit strange to say the least. Here we have a couple posts by Hyrule Fashion Week. What a strange name. There was apparently some sort of interview between Dan Clancy and this Kathleen individual. She is well known for being a serial harasser and doxer. Apparently she did some hidden stuff against Doki Bird. So, yeah, this is not a great combination. And here we have the tweet. I disagree with Dan Clancy when he said that lurkers is a negative term. I said it's not, he said it is. My follow-up question was, I don't want it for no reason. I honestly don't understand how Twitch works anymore. SMH. Here we have this. Thank you for saying something. Whatever, there's gonna be a lot of hugboxing here, but... No, it's not a negative term. I don't think it's a negative term either, for sure. And here's the question. Will you, soon in the future, address the irregularity in Twitch posting streams randomly for viewers who are actively chatting and participating? Something like that getting caught by Automod? It's really weird. I don't know what could prompt this. Not even in spicy language, so that seems really strange. There's a follow-up here. I want to be clear, I'm saying there was some sort of conspiracy against me or anything like that. It's just that the inconsistency and recycled answers are just such a drag. I feel love Twitch and everything is provided. It's provided me. They give us better answers for a change. That will never happen. They actually quite dislike giving specifics, because, and it is by their own words, if they give you specifics, especially about rules and such, you can just move around the rules without actually breaking them, and they don't like that, because then they couldn't ban you for something like that. Which is a really strange admission to whatever this is. And I guess maybe it was this tweet here by Kitsu that actually prompted my train of thought. She says, not to forget that lurkers usually account for 60-20% of your viewers. But lurkers don't watch ads, lurkers don't make them any money. That's why they are negative. The disconnect between the CEO and his own website is crazy. She corrects herself here. She didn't mean watch ads, she meant click ads instead of watch. But people don't really click ads anyway, unless you click by mistake. But if you're actively watching and actively chatting, the chance for you to actually click an ad, I think it's extremely small. I do believe this man is mixing lurkers, which would be people that watch streams but do not interact with the chat, they're just watching on the side usually, with VOD watchers, which would be people that watch the content after it finished. I do believe that even on Twitch, you can get ads on VODs. And maybe that's a problem for them, but mixing the two groups seems like an insane mistake to make. I guess not really surprising coming from Twitch of all places, especially from this strange individual known as Dan Clancy. But if you're doing something here, that something is not helping your site, that's not helping your viewer base. So I have no clue what their plan is. I've seen recently, speaking of ads and speaking of Twitch, they have been trying to implement more ads on the site in a really strange way. This doesn't really help me because this is mobile. But I've seen a new chat implementation on chat. Oh, not what I meant. A new ad implementation on top of the chat, that's why I misspoke. So the chat becomes a little bit shorter, and you get an additional player there that plays some ads for some time. And sometimes the player becomes also a little bit smaller. The player doesn't become smaller, but the actual stream itself becomes smaller, and you get banner ads in the player. This is absolutely insane to me, because I've seen those ads on top of regular scheduled ads, and they have been happening, well, they're not happening anymore, not to me at least, but when they were running, they were constant ads, a constant stream of ads on top of the chat. Not 3 minutes every half an hour, which is the normal. It was like maybe a minute and a half every like 10 minutes. At most. Insane. Insane ad scheme. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I understand they want more money because, hey, we love money, right? But that's not the way to go. That is not the way to go. Such an insane thing to do, and it's gonna backfire tremendously. Also, since it's not in player, you can have some fancy tricks you can do with the shield extensions, because you can just block some not content, not components. You can block some components on the side. As you can see, I do this all the time on Twitter, so I don't have the trending, who to follow, etc. here on the side while I'm streaming, because I found that to be really annoying and distracting. Isn't that curious? Isn't that funny? I guess speaking of ads, YouTube's reportedly testing unskippable ads up to 90 seconds long on smart TVs and streaming devices. You understand now my hate for smart devices in general, especially smart TVs. They are not smart. They're here to screw you. And to 90-second ad breaks, no skip option, design money for TV viewing, fewer but longer ad interruptions, higher ad revenue focus. It's all about the money, baby. It's all about the money. They want more users to pay for a premium. Remember that, it's gonna be on the XM. Oh, that's a spoiler. So of course we had Dexerto here mentioning this, and Team YouTube coming in with YouTube does not have a 90-second non-skippable ad format. This is something we're testing right now. We're looking into this further. Whatever you say, Sar, I think you're just lying to me. And of course, completely destroyed by community notes, YouTube is currently running 90-second non-skippable ads, whether they intended to or not. Whether they intended to or not is way too generous. You don't get randomly, ooh, minute and a half ads, unskippable. How is this possible? Ooh, what a strange bug. This doesn't happen randomly. Come on, let's be real. As some people coming in here with the hammer of justice. You guys can't be serious. There are hundreds, possible thousands, of screenshots of 90-second unskippable ads all over the internet. Also, right now, impressed that you plan to test this feature out in the future anyways, lol. You guys will need to be transparent for once. Yeah, this has been transparent, not something you're gonna see in your lifetime, I'm afraid. It is such a difficult situation with the sites, because you had to juggle with them whatever mental issue they have at that point in time, which is kind of rough. And they have the little prompts of the ad break that you have to clear from the screen. On top of that, disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Of course, this is just an excuse. You pay more for premium. Hey, do you remember when you didn't need premium on YouTube? I do remember. Wow, but it offers you a lot of stuff, like, how do they call this? For the phone app. It's like, background playback, something like that. You can have a video running, lock the phone, and it still keeps running. That was default behavior way back in my day, early smartphone days, early updates for YouTube. They made a problem and they sold you the solution. If you could do that on your Samsung Galaxy Ace, you can do that with a toaster nowadays. Stop lying to me. At the premium price, drives revealed the subscribers threatened to cancel. Maybe you should cancel a mess. Oh, but yet the premium is so useful. I mean, you kinda get the same with Outlook. Oh, but you have to support the content creators. Look, if the content creators are smart enough, they will have alternative monetization options. I do invite you to invest into those. Maybe Patreon, maybe, how do they call those? Stream elements? Donation links in general, which is way better, so the platform doesn't get any money. Why do you want to give money to a platform such as YouTube, which has been getting worse and worse to spur much its inception? I don't think you want to do that. Especially not from your actual smartphone. If you do, the owners, I guess the owners of the App Store also take a cut from your donations, not just YouTube. That's especially prevalent on Apple devices, by the way. I'm not saying this because I want to get money from you. I'm not even monetized. I just don't want people to waste money on platforms that clearly don't deserve it. Not so much in this case YouTube as Apple, but Here comes the argument for both. Yet it has announced a price rise for YouTube Premium individual subscribers, and many have already cancelled their subscription. Oh boy, I wonder why. Anyway, here's wonder why. Without breaks being a constant headache for online video watchers, many platforms have subscription plans that let you get around them. That includes YouTube, with the YouTube Premium offering being a popular choice with regular users. There are different tiers for YouTube Premium subscriptions, including Premium Lite, which doesn't offer ad-free access to YouTube Music, as well as plans for family subscribers and individual users. You're paying for YouTube Premium in the US, well, it appears you'll be shelling out more, and it's starting pretty soon. I bet you're getting more for your I bet you're getting more for your penny. Sure thing. If only that was the case, right? Yet the premium price change revealed for US users. On April 9th, which was 2 days ago, a number of YouTube Premium subscribers noted that they received an email from YouTube notifying them of a price increase. Some individual plan subscribers were informed that they'd be paying $15.99 moving forward instead of $13.99, while family plan users will be moving to $26.99. Do you remember when people went to the internet because it was not cable? Wow! Yeah, so much for that! Prices continue to differ between those who renew on desktop and those who use mobile devices too. It will always happen because the apps stores will take a cut on top of that. Excuse me. They'll make this decision slightly, but this update will allow us to continue to improve premium and support the creators and artists you watch on YouTube. The platform selling its email. It's interesting how they managed to improve premium, not YouTube. The increase attracted a fair bit of backlash on social media too. Yes, it's $2. Was the person above it, one user said, and cancelled immediately, another added. Others reported that they've cancelled their subscriptions as well. Ouch! 21 per month. I'm happy with the free tier with ads, another commented. Nah, they really said support the creators while charging me more than Netflix, lol. Another chimed in. Free tier with ads. It's something that's actually pissing me off here. Free tier with ads. You have installed subscriptions so much that you think they're normal. They're not normal. They shouldn't be normalized. Especially when they offer you pretty much nothing. But they keep asking you more and more. envtuber has also addressed complaints, about the 90-second ads. Oh, it's not happening. Yeah. Sure. And let us find here, what was the original price for YouTube Premium? God damn it, everything is just this news. What about YouTube Premium on Wikipedia? If I type in price history, it could be a little bit better. Premium Lite, $8.99 a month. Holy. Okay, US market. YouTube Red / Early Premium from 2015 to 2018, $9.99 a month, with some early adopters grandfather at $7.99. Now Premium Lite is actually more expensive than that. Well, isn't that funny? Just funny business here. Maybe a little bit too funny after all. Oh boy. It's also the same with Netflix. I don't even know how much Netflix is nowadays, but it's so expensive, it's not even funny. But you also get a cheaper version with ads. Yeah, I could also not pay for Netflix. That seems like a good idea to me. Imagine that. After all, it's just Netflix, right? The spoiler alert for later. What do we have here? Oh yeah, this is... It's funny, it's still contributor related, so I guess it's interesting. Hi, I'm Admiral Trina or Trina, I'm not sure. Real life US Navy sailor on active duty. VTuber, sailor by day, and voice actors by night. Are you willing to sell your soul to the US Navy? It still seems like a psyop. I don't know if that's the case. It's kind of funny how replies are now limited. How... how curious. Be gone, fan. Psyop, more like Psyslop. It is a little bit strange. I don't know if this is actually endorsed by the actual Navy. I guess it doesn't say. But it's kind of funny. It is kind of funny. Speaking of funny, we also have this tweet here. From Himifu. Due to recent events, I can't believe we had to make this announcement, but do not commit crimes while in Discord and voice chat. Last night, one of the members there, who is currently no longer in the community, robbed a local gas station on knife point while in voice chat. Do not do that, please. And do not confess to any crimes on my chat or the server. Very funny tweet, it's not real. Thankfully, I do believe this might happen at some point. But this was just a funny haha for a donathon goal. A lot of people believe it was actually real. I would say it says a lot when you consider this is actually believable. Thankfully not real. I don't want to see this happening, okay? Do not be a criminal. But there's something that is actually real. Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, surprises fans with original vtuber character. Ladies and gentlemen, we have hit the mainstream. It's only downhill from here. Why? Why live like this? Hold up, let me stretch my leg a little bit. The world virtual streaming has officially crossed over into mainstream network television. I hope this is not one for a disaster. During season 27, episode 16 of Law and Order Special Victims Unit, the long-running crime procedural surprised viewers by centering a dark storyline around an original VTuber. The episode revolves around the popular virtual streamer named Jaded_Amber. I guess this is played by April Dieso? That Italian? I don't know. Who discloses a traumatic assault to her massive fanbase. When the SVU squad ultimately traces the crime back to a corrupt psychedelic therapy trial, it was the show's unexpectedly authentic portrayal of VTubing that got entrance attention. When you say authentic, do you mean because of these three happenings around a bunch of people, or prone to being groomed? Please don't answer that, I don't wanna know. Custom avatar on Network TV. Running using generic, low-budget animation to represent the influencer, Embassy commissioned a legitimate, fully VTuber model for the episode. And then actual VTubers cannot do that. Oh, how can you get the model if you're actually working for TV? Terrible. Fans of the virtual streaming community quickly took to social media when they recognized the high-quality design on their television screens. I mean, high quality... I want to talk, I know, but I think the art style is a little bit strange. Maybe that's just me. The assembly reached a boiling point when artist Shatter_399 in Semi Studio took to X/Twitter to confirm they were actual creators. They were the actual creators behind the model used on the show. I guess we can expect actual debut from Jaded Amber. How jaded can we be? Never enough. I, along with my good friend, Summer Studio, have been given the opportunity to create the model used for Law and Order Special Victim Unit's latest episode. Chat_399 shared online. Prompted a massive wave of support from the VTubing community. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my throat today. Fans immediately flooded the replies to praise the artists for securing such a high-profile television gig. I mean, it's kinda bouncy as usual. But I think there's something wrong with the face. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Thanks to SVU for actually reaching out to artists instead of doing some shitty CGI or AI prompt. AI tubers. I mean, that's coming too. Amazing, you guys did a fantastic job. The VTuber worldwide domination plan is going smoothly thanks to you, soldiers. Yeah, I don't think that's good. You don't need the bombers here. Not because they watched that on Law and Order of all places. Maybe that's just me. I'm protective of things I care about. Oh, Oh, never beaten the allegations with this one. For more VTuber news, check out this VTuber that charges over 600 a month for a girlfriend experience. God damn it, just getting AI at that point. I don't think it's a good solution, but still. Oh, that's not great. That's not great to see. Hold up. Oh, that's a bit better. Kinda funny, but yeah, no, that's teaching behavior. Stop it. Ow, 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 hold up. What are you doing here? My nerve just below my left eye was twitching for no reason. Happens sometimes, it's so annoying. It's been a while since last time. Oh. Am I going insane? For real this time? Believable. Speaking of things that hit the mainstream and it has been an absolute disaster, I had two tweets here from Ayaka Mods, but they're about manga decks. This has not been doing so well recently. Not even the server part. So we have here the horror story from May 2025 to April 2026. So maybe people understand what's actually going on. Manga was launched in 2018 is the community-first escalation platform built by and for the people that official publishers ignore. No ads, no fees, no corporate overlords. No ads, I remember that. Not much the case anymore. I understand they have to pay the servers. That's maybe a bunch of money, especially nowadays. I get it. On May 14th, 2025, chapters started disappearing. By May 16th, over 7,000 titles were gone. More than 25% of the entire site. That's more than 660,000 chapters. Apothecary Darius, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Dress Up Darling, Still Leveling, Oshinoko. I coordinated the MCA strike from Kodansha, Square Enix, Shugakukan, Knuckle, Neighbor, and more. Don't think that's actually correct. It is my understanding that this happened mainly because of Korean manhwa. Because they actually have really strict rules about this. Unlike Japan, surprisingly, I know. But yeah, if you're not really selling, let's say, for example, I don't know if this is the case, but let's take a random name from here, Apothecary Darius. If you're not actually releasing that manga overseas, translated, some people getting that with a fan translation on a website, it's not a huge deal. I'm not gonna say it's not illegal, because I don't know if that's actually the case. But for Japan, it's not a huge deal, because it's not actual infringement on their sales. But Korea's much more strict with that. That's why all of these sites end up in big trouble. Also, I've read some Korean manhwa. It's not that exciting. I'm not impressed, at least. Manga decks and middle, they could no longer handle it themselves. So they handed management of the site and domain to Namikami. Not a great name. A UK-based platform with the line, Namikami has accepted to take management. No transaction was performed, no vote, no community input. MangaDex is formally incorporated as MangaDex UK Ltd. Yeah, you know that's a problem every single time. The fan-run parent site quickly became a registered UK corporation. It's like 50-50 problem here, right? 50-50 being corpo, 50-50 being from the UK, with their insane censorship. Years earlier, Step had openly said their goal was to go legit, like Crunchyroll/fuck you. How about fuck you? The writing was always on the wall. MangaDex probably swore they would never become Crunchyroll, but their own FAQ quickly switched from escalators to content creators. What a strange change. Because legally, escalation isn't creation. On October 2nd, 2025, MangaDex introduced ads. Support of 8 and 3. The rest, full 1920 by 1080 banners, commonly oversized because of the testing blunder. Yes, it's called the rollout chaotic. You can just use the shields, okay? Always have a shield with you. You never know who's coming. Within months, stop AI ads threads exploded after AI-generated scam ads, AI girlfriends, etc. It started running. Just like on YouTube. That's funny. January 19th, 2026. Vtuber, one of the biggest party sites with more than 100 million monthly visits, shuts down permanently. This will vanish the same day. Millions of readers flock to Mangadex. February 2026. Stolen Push begins. Turtle pages, not just chapters. Start disappearing for legal reasons. No announcement. No list. Staff confirmed there was manga depicting lolly content and sexual content with characters that appear to be minors. Case by case, on design or dialogue. That's what he said, at least. Even some moderators learned about removals from user posts. What do you tell you about the UK? Not good people. Yes, accused staff of virtue signaling and personal bias. And slapped back harshly in public. That's usually a good idea. March 2026 Development Update. Real are now permanent. The site had weeks of degraded service from API views enforcement. The exchange subscription stayed paused for payment compliance. Imagine paying for a pirate site. Yeah, how about now? You know that money's not going to the actual creator, so... Isn't that actually quite illegal? I mean, it's not illegal because it's not pay-gated. But it's quite morally reprehensible, I would say. Mangadex developed Archival Mirror, and as will shut down on May 29th, 2026. Mangadex still claims it will remain non-profit and free. But every single decision since May 2025 has moved further from the fiscal leaders and readers who built it, and closer to the corporate compliance model it once swore to fight. The people who made Mangadex what it was got zero credits, zero compensation, and zero warning. As usual. And that's why how does someone start one of these? Sounds pretty easy. I mean, the main issue is usually the server ghosts, because that's usually the biggest limitation. It's not that difficult to make, it's the hosting. Usually that's the big problem here. There's another tweet here, which is kind of related to this. Mangadex removed hundreds of manga, registered as a UK company, Mangadex UK Ltd. Mangadex zip dies May 29th, 2026. Keep saying that's wrong, I don't know why. Crunchyroll has geo-blocked Japan after our post triggered their defense squad and fake community notes. Next month staff called Yakamans fairly toxic in private DMs and threatened mothers. All exposed. Truth is coming fast. They can't hide anymore. We will never kneel for to censorship. They can't stop us. It is weird, all of this that's been happening. So, bird sites going corpo? Weird. Crunchyroll geo-blocking Japan, so they cannot see the big mishandlings of translations. Strange, but not insane, because it is probably some sort of licensing thing, right? It's distribution licensing. So, if you have a Japanese product that's broadcasting in Japan, and now you get the deal with Crunchyroll, you want them to broadcast that, in this case anime, everywhere else. So globally, but not Japan, because you already have distribution deals with different Japanese televisions. That makes sense. It still sounds weird, but it makes sense. Next month's attacking other mod sites because I guess they have too much power for modding sites, which is not something great. If it's fan-made mods, why are you so eager to censor them? Why are you so eager to be the arbiter of what should be and not be allowed as a mod? Once again, Nexus mods, it is my understanding, they're also from the UK. How curious. These people, most of them actually hate Japan, actually hate the fans, and they're just here for the money. Even Nexus mods, I guess. I'm assuming they're running ads at least. Maybe Nexus mods are just here for the control over the gamers. It seems plausible to me. That's not to say that manga is doing all fine and dandy in Japan, because apparently it's also struggling a little bit. Manga is losing young readers in Japan as kids and teens move away from print, but they can't afford digital platform subscriptions. Industry researcher suggests. I don't think Weekly Shonen Jump, for example, has gone up in price, but I don't understand that the economy is fucked, especially in Japan. So I can't really blame them, even if Weekly Shonen Jump is actually pretty cheap. Would you rather have $2 or $1? Maybe 2, right? Preston Golem, publishing industry researcher Ichishi Ida, discussed the decrease in manga readership among Japanese kids and teens. I just have to mention, what great mangas are releasing right now, at least for younger people. I cannot really think of any, not in Shonen Jump. One Piece if you are into it, aside from that. What's there? Orto? Which is not good. I don't know, it's Kuroko no Basket is still releasing. There might be also an issue of quality. I mean, nobody can beat the 80s, 90s, or maybe early 2000s, right? The Japanese manga and comic book market size reached a record high of about 700 billion yen, roughly 4.4 billion USD. That's a lot of money. In the 2020s. But while this may give the impression that manga are being read more than ever in the past couple of years, Japanese author, print journalist, and publishing industry researcher Ichishi Ida suggests otherwise. In a column for President Online, Ida compiled numerous recent research reports supporting his theory that the manga industry is seeing a big decline in readership, specifically children and teens. Traditionally, serialized manga in Japan was already popularized through magazines and anthologies, such as the Weekly Shonen Jump. Hey, we know about those. Up until 2004, the manga market was significantly larger for manga magazines than for standalone books, Ida suggests. According to data by the Japan School Library Association, at the peak of magazines' popularity during the 80s, middle and junior high schoolers would read about 10 magazines per month. Fast forward to 2025, that number dropped to just 1. Additionally, the proportion of those who don't read magazines at all has reached 77.7%. Lucky sevens. I don't think this is lucky for them, though. So bright, it's actually hurting my eyes a little bit. In the cautions that, with there being few long-term surveys that provide insight into manga readership over the years, maybe they fail to determine how these trends apply to the readership of standalone manga publications. However, when it comes to manga magazines, school surveys over the years confirm the trend readership is decreasing among children. It happens out that, for example, my Kuroko Comics still has strong following among elementary school boys in both 1996 and 2019. The same could be said for Shonen Jump among middle and high schoolers, with readership plummeting to roughly 1/10 of what it used to be. Research data provided by an undisclosed school. I don't think it will be lying to us here or anything. It's data from multiple different surveys, including the 1985 and 1995, I know numbers, I promise. Data by Japan School Library Association and 2023 data by Benes Educational Research and Development Institute and Tokyo University. It concludes that manga readership among children and teenagers is declining both with physical publications and in digital form. Digital form I get, because the prices are usually going up. And you don't kind of want to spend the subscriptions, which are so fleeting, instead of buying the magazines. Which, sure, it's just a magazine, but I don't know, it feels better to buy something that's actually physical, in my opinion. Not due to the difference in survey methods in sample populations, these results are only for reference, as the author explains. In 2023, physical manga readership rates for 4th to 6th grade elementary schoolers, middle schoolers, and high schoolers were 68%, 60%, and 49% respectively, which is almost a 20% decline for all three categories compared to 1985, 88%, 85%, and 77% respectively. Interestingly enough, physical manga is still more popular than digital manga among Japanese kids and teenagers. That's actually the correct way to go, in my opinion. With a 15% readership rate among elementary schoolers, 5% readership rate among middle schoolers, and 49% readership rate among high schoolers. Which is kind of funny how it's going up the older they go. That's somewhat interesting to me. Comparing Japan to Korea, which was a much bigger digital comic, webtoon, readership among the same demographics, it announced that the digital manga culture didn't have the chance to take off among Japanese children due to several factors. Most notably, the adult-oriented nature of digital comics, whose market has grown primarily thanks to frequent and pricey in-app transactions and subscription plans. As a result, children and young teens who don't hold purchasing power and often can't afford pricier options are neglected. It suggests... I don't know, it suggests... I thought it was a period. My bad. I misread that completely. Consequently, there are few digital manga that are aimed at younger children, while Koro Comics come out with its own designated manga reading app in 2022. It hints that, under these circumstances, it will still be difficult to draw kids and teens to read manga as much as they used to, even in digital form. But I think this is mainly a case of quality. What do you watch? What do you read? If you're young nowadays, I know I mentioned One Piece, but One Piece has been running for more than 25 years, right? So even if you want to get into it, it would be difficult because you won't understand anything that's going on. I'm assuming, because that's a big hurdle to overcome. I guess we could look up some information about Shonen Jump here, what is actually released nowadays. Weekly Shonen Jump current manga. Okay, what about the what do we have here? One Piece, Sakamoto Days, and Witch Watch. Okay, let's see. Yeah, One Piece since '97. Sakamoto Days is fun from 2020, that's okay. Witch Watch, I don't know. Blue Box, I don't really know. Akane Banashi, don't really know. Kagurabachi, seems to be pretty interesting from what I've read. And Newest Exorcist. No Myoji, okay. Into the Witch, Shinobi Undercover. Ultimate Exorcist, Kiyoshi, Himanteng, Me and Roboku, To the Dragon. Recent additions. Summon Hearts. Jiki Yushi to Inkumo and the Doctor, Keiki no Kinoto, Any Headbutt, Roku no Okashina Ie. And some stuff, but yeah, not really a lot of well-known stuff. Some other well-known APs like JoJo and Dragon Ball, when it was actually releasing, it's in a big hiatus right now, was moved to... I don't know if they moved to the same. I know that Dragon Ball was moved to VJam, which is monthly. So that's kind of a problem. Boku to Roboku? Okay. 2020. Seems like old art style. I don't know, Hako. Okay. Akane Banashi, Noe no Myoji, Kagurabachi. Exorcisto no Kiyoshi-kun. Himaten. Madan no Ichi. Shinobi Goto. Summon Hearts. And the Doctor, Keiki no Kinoto, Any Headbutt. Yeah, pretty much the same as we were saying. You don't really have really exciting titles like before. They're not as exciting at least. So I can understand the problem, you see the issue here. Maybe that's also something they will need to fix at some point. After all, when you buy these magazines, if you can't find anything interesting to read, I don't think you will. I wouldn't at least, but maybe that's just me. Speaking of JoJo, I suppose, we also have Netflix being a bunch of absolute clowns. Thank you for all the incredible support for Steel Ball Run, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The series is currently in production and will be available for everyone to enjoy. I would hope so. We're planning a split core release across the entire run of episodes. The next core, Second Stage, will begin streaming in fall 2026 on Netflix, with one new episode released each week. This release schedule is part of our original plan and reflects the wishes of the production committee. Our passion and enthusiasm and great deal to everyone involved in the preparation. Appreciate your patience and continued support as we work to bring you the second stage. If you thought Don't Wish's release was rough, You haven't seen anything yet. This is a massive disaster. Oh, really disgusting. Some people are taking this as a victory. Oh, this is a victory because they're actually communicating with us. Are they? Are they really? They're just telling you that they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want. Every single time. And people are in this, oh, Netflix, so good! Yes, yes, yes! No. They're doing something absolutely insane. This would never happen on actual TV. If you believe their lies, you might be actual cattle, I'm sure to tell you this. They aren't changing anything. It's gonna be weekly releases per race. And that's gonna be, from what I've read, about 9 to 10 different quote-unquote seasons. And you thought that Stone Ocean was bad. Let me tell you, it's Netflix. It can always get worse. And lo and behold, it is getting worse. Great! What a fucking disaster. Some people have been copying, saying, ah, this already happened with Star Wars Crusaders. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It was... what? I think it was quite 56 episodes. But it was divided in 2 seasons. They did not release in the span of... what is this gonna be? Like 3 different years? This is gonna end in like late 2028. Dividing... excuse me. The anime into 2 seasons is normal. Doing this is insane. It's just absolutely insane. I don't understand how people can be coping, saying this is good or this is fine, just because they're communicating. They're calling you a fucking idiot to your face. It's gonna be barely weekly. What a disaster. What a disaster. If you need that time for production, just wait for the releases. It's fine. We can wait for actual releases. It's not a big deal. At least be normal for fucking once, Netflix. I beg. I beg of you. I know I'm asking too much of them. But still. What a bunch of insane lunatics. That's why you should hate Netflix, by the way. They're a bunch of massive clowns. They also keep mistranslating everything all the time. So why should we be surprised? It's not the only company that's not doing so great recently. Finally, everything is catching up to Bandamu. This series publisher receives backlash in Japan after hyped up 30th anniversary announcement turns out to be neither a game nor an anime. This is what being a DSL fan is. Wow! Something new! What are you eating? Fucking nothing. Cool. Following the reveal of vtuber's 30th anniversary project for the Tale series, fans in Japan were critical of Bandai Namco Entertainment's overblown marketing campaign for the announcement. Bandai Namco Entertainment's Tales of JRPG franchise marked its 30th anniversary in 2025. Wow, nothing happened, but like, not nothing. They released a remaster for Tales of Berseria, the second to last released game, which still looks fine, but it got more censored. Cool. As part of the celebrations, a big announcement was teased for the AP at the end of February this year. The following announcement, a collaboration between Anime Studio Ufotable, which produced animated cutscenes for several mainline entries, including Tales of Arise, and production IG, was finally revealed on April 3rd. But fans in Japan haven't taken kindly to it. I keep saying this, but the way they have things up is just terrible. I'm really grateful for the brand new illustrations themselves, mind you. But given the current state of the Tale series, I'm sure there were plenty of fans who, after seeing that kind of hype, were expecting an anime to be announced. At least an anime, right? I think that's fair. The fact is, the Tale series itself has fallen so far out of favor that the fans' frustrations is at an alarming level. Following the initial teaser in February and several countdown posts, Ufotable announced that it will be collaborating with Production IG to create 188 original illustrations spanning every mainline Tale series entry. The project will be scouted designed by acclaimed animators Akira Matsushima and Noriyuki Matsutake. And the first batch of illustrations will cover Tales of Fantasia and Tales of Exilia. This announcement was also accompanied by news of a live concert celebrating Tales of the Stereo anime, due to be held on May 17th this year. But the Stereo anime is old. I watched that. The OVA and the actual anime. What? Is it some sort of anniversary, maybe? While the content of the announcement is not controversial in itself, though it's been teased and marketed, has been condemned by a number of Japanese players. I feel like they were set up to expect something much bigger than what they got. The important context here is that Tales hasn't seen a new mailing entry in 5 years, and the player base has been growing increasingly frustrated with the lack of developments in the franchise. And they have released supports, which is fine, but why are you not releasing ports for actual old games? Or JP only games? I have no idea. And the translation is so costly. No, it's not. In the 30-year milestone and grand content this announcement had, many were hoping that if not a new game, they'd at least hear news of a new anime adaptation, given the involvement of 2 animation companies. No, you're eating fucking nothing. They hadn't done a fucking announcement for this and just shell dropped it instead. Everyone would have been thrilled by this. Yes! Not the first such case either, as the announcement of the Tales of Exilia remaster in August last year prompted similar criticism. Most of the series considered the pre-announcement campaign to be overblown for a remaster, and were further disappointed in Byte and Namco Entertainment's handling of the IP when they found out the title would be releasing on the same day as Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake. Ooh, what a fumble. The Japanese equivalent of overlapping with GTA 6. Considering the publisher launched the Tales of Series 30th Anniversary Remaster project in 2025, it does seem to be making efforts to keep the IP relevant, but without a new mailing entry or full remake announcement, I think that should be an or, right? Past concerns are unlikely to be dispelled so easily. I guess they're just gonna release Symphonia again because they keep doing that for some godforsaken reason. It's so weird, so silly. There's so many old games they could just release on newer platforms, and that'd be good. That's what the kids crave. Give us the old games, especially if they were JP only. You're gonna make money with those, trust me, I know. I mean, makes more sense than trying to sell Symphonia again, or trying to sell Berseria again. I actually don't know if you can buy both versions of Berseria right now on Steam. I haven't checked in recent times. That's checking. Okay, Berseria and Remastered. Yeah, you can actually buy both of them. It's also kinda funny how the original release is more expensive than the remastered. That being said, just have a remastered deluxe edition. So delicious. And yes, it still has a bunch of stupid DLC you can buy. Then you want free level ups? Nah, I'm fine. Nah, I'm fine actually. God, I hate when they do that. It's so silly. Oh, give me a second here. I need another sip. And they could just release, right? Like stuff like Destiny or Destiny DC or Destiny 2 or Eternia. I don't know how many titles they could release. Just like that. On Steam. Of course not full price, right? I mean, oh, it's Eternia. What about 15 bucks? Maybe even 20. Sure, why not? It's about the same price as Symphonia anyway. Sure. That's cool. Just like that. And people will buy it. And you will get money. And people will not be mad because the thing is gonna be like, you know what? At least you're releasing stuff. At least you're releasing all games on new systems. Quote unquote new systems, right? I mean, it's not an old system, but it's just PC in this case. which I'm fine with, by the way. You could finally release Symphonia Chronicles? I mean, Symphonia 2 on PC. I want to play that with a controller. So I guess you can just emulate the PS3 version after all. Is that not good enough? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows if they're actually making a new Tales of game? I want to believe they are. I know they also tried to make a bunch of gacha games into main series, and it didn't work. The last one I didn't even play. It lasted how long? Not even a year, I don't think. It was like Tales of Luminaria? Something like that, right? Yeah, Tales of Luminaria. I didn't even play it. Wow. Okay, hold up. It released worldwide November 4th, 2021. Shut down July 19th, 2022. No trust in gacha games anymore. Not from me. It's so annoying, it's so boring. Speaking of things that maybe should be shutting down soon. The beginning I was not going to cover this, because I thought it was just being silly, but it keeps happening. And I hate this with a burning passion. Ladies and gentlemen, Kotaku's at it again. Pokemon Champions is an unexpected trans icon. What are you talking about, pal? What are you talking about? This is just a bug, right? Wow, female Gallade confirmed? Wow, yeah, it's a female Gallade in the game. What does it mean? It means that the game is extremely broken. I don't want to go into an insane tirade about Pokemon Champions right now, but the game is not made properly. Nobody has put any kind of care on this game. Not the Pokemon Company, not Game Freak, and especially not Ilka. On release, this game was extremely broken. It kinda is, but they already fixed some stuff, thankfully. You saw probably some insane bugs, like melodic healing almost to full heal, to full health, with the use of haze, which just removes stats changes. On top of that, well, I do believe that bug was only visual, but it's kind of strange that something like that can happen. You can also see prompts for focus sash activating on the attacking Pokemon and not the Pokemon that's actually receiving the attacks. You can also see Charizard Y being immune to the flinch from Fake Out for no reason. I don't think it was being protected by a safeguard. I don't think it works even in that way. You saw insane, not necessarily freezes, but locks of the game in loading screens. It's even laggy on the Switch too. I've seen reports of half a second delays for inputs. It's just a phone slapper. There are also insane changes to status and moves, insane changes to movesets themselves. So of course, during the tutorial you're gonna see something that doesn't make any sense, like female Gallade. The current state wouldn't be such a big problem, in my opinion, if Pokemon Champions wasn't meant to be the stage for actual competitive play. It's not a one-off, like let's say Pokemon Masters or maybe Pokemon Go, even though you can connect that to home. It's the base going forward for competitive play. There's also missing items for now, missing mechanics for now. You would expect they would be out on release, but they're not. Maybe they can sell them to you later. That's great. But of course, this insane individual, because it's always the same guy, this Kenneth Shepard individual, oh no, it has to be about trans. No, the game is broken. The game is just broken. But no, for you it has to be some sort of grandstanding. No, it isn't. Of course, people are clowning on this publication, especially with this post, thankfully. We get it, these bugs. You really want to bim among the animals. I guess this is kind of a spoiler now. But this guy has been going on a strange crusade about adult things in video games. Like, for example, Bowser, I know what you are. Bisexual. I haven't seen this movie, okay? I haven't seen the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I watched the first one, I thought it was okay. I thought that Peach was a little bit too much of a girl boss, but not as much as usual Hollywood productions, so that's fine, right? This is a movie for kids, or for the whole family, if you wish. Even if you have a scene here with Bowser, he's marrying the chick. It's meant to be a joke. We all understand it's meant to be a joke. It's not characteristic of the character. It's... maybe we could call it gap moe in this case. It's meant to be cheeky. It's fine. And there's also some strange stuff here. Oh, look! Bowser paint Luigi! And he's kissing his leg! I don't think that means what you think it means. He's posing himself as the ultimate overlord. It's very clear. It's King Koopa after all. But some strange stuff with Luigi. Oh, look! They're so gay for each other. No. No, they're not. No, they're not. But for these people, these insane people like Kenneth Shepard here, it's not just that they're mixing philia with eros, it's that for them, everything has to be eros, no matter what it is. It has to be all about adult themes. They're acting like the worst of stereotypes. And then they want to be criticized when they act like this? And it's not the case that you want to jerk it to Bowser. Okay, I don't care if you want to jerk it to Bowser or to Fox McCloud, which is the next one. It's fine, I'm not against Rule 34. But Rule 34, it's obviously... holy shit, what happened here? Tracking? Hello? There we go. Something choked there for a second. But Rule 34, it's obviously an 18 plus space. If you want to discuss 18 plus topics, you need to go to an 18 plus space. Kotaku is not an 18 plus space. It's in a space about games. And you're talking about the Mario movie, which is for kids. We're talking about Pokemon Champions, which is for everyone in the US and 7 plus in Europe, I think. And you're talking about pretty obvious adult explicit themes, especially here. This article pissed off a lot of people because this spoiled the presence of Fox McCloud to a lot of individuals that hadn't seen the movie yet. And you're here fetishizing the characters. Look, I'm not a fool, but when I see Fox McCloud, I get it. Yes, I also get it. Maybe you should be not in the cinema. Maybe you shouldn't be writing these insane articles for Kotaku. Not trying to say this guy is, he's smearing the good name of Kotaku. And they never had a good name to begin with. God, but it's obvious. This shouldn't be here. If you want to have an 18 plus blog, that's fine. This ain't it, chief. This ain't it. Especially when we have some stuff that mention not safe for work. Like, stumbling upon something not safe for work when looking for an animal character that walks on 2 legs is a canon event. Never beating the grooming allegations with this one, pal. It's on you. I didn't write this. You wrote this. There's also... let me try to find it. This will inevitably introduce Fox and the rest of his crew to a new generation of furry artists. That's explicitly 18 plus. Furry spaces are explicitly for adults because they are probably one of the most insane degenerates I've seen in my entire life. And I've been on the internet for a long time. But no, you have to talk about this on places where maybe People that happen to not be 18 plus can find them. You people are never beating the allegations. I only hope that these sites like Kotaku just collapse because it's the only thing they deserve. Because clearly, you can't just talk about video games themselves. Everything has to be about 18 plus situations with you people. Never beating the allegations. Stop acting like a stereotype. Because let me tell you, I don't know if this guy is gay. I'm assuming so. If he's getting hot for Fox McCloud and potentially also Bowser. But you're not helping your quote-unquote communities with this act. You're actually demonstrating to the worst detractors that they are actually right. Because you're acting like an absolute moron. And it's only your fault. It's only your fault. Nobody cares what you do or what you crank it to, as long as it is in private. This is not in private. This is not even an 18 plus place. Stop it. Get some help. It is insane. It is truly insane. And I know why they do this. I know this is partially their fetish. I know this is also partially virtue signaling. But most important of all, I know this is rage bait. I know I'm getting baited. That's why I'm using archives. I'm not gonna give you strange creatures from the internet clicks. I know that's what you want. But I will fall for the rage bait. Because acting like a buffoon, acting like a borderline criminal here. It's not, oh, see, it's your fault for getting mad. Yes, I'm gonna get mad. And it's gonna be your problem now. I'm gonna make it your business. Because you're acting like a buffoon. And not the fun kind. Because you see, I'm not laughing. Sick of these people. Just sick of these people. It's endless with them. Holy shit, dude, please. Oh, you disgust me to no fucking end. People will call me mean names when you say shit like this, but I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore because I know I'm right. And it's hilarious when we see some of the memes here, right? Could you not make everything about yourself for 5 fucking minutes? No, they cannot. No, they cannot. They crave the attention. They crave the attention. Speaking of attention, I suppose, kinda going off too much here. And this is not just heavy criticism, but this is just something strange. I guess speaking of the gays, there's this clip from Canada. This thing you're looking at the screen is not a password, but I do think it's really powerful. The Canadian government just dropped this absolute monstrosity, and no, it isn't satire.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent.
If anything, I'm surprised she managed to say all of that in a single shot without stumbling. I could never. I could never. That's insane. What a password. What a password. You might be thinking, okay, what does this mean? Of course, it has the LGBTQ whatever in here. So of course we're talking about the gay collectives in general. What is the rest? Thankfully, we have the trusty replies here. Stands for missing and murdered indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual plus. Asexual plus, they have advanced. So now for some reason, we had to admit, to some extent, that indigenous women, if they happen to be missing and murdered, they are also in the same collective as gay people? Also girls, just girls. What? Another group that's never been in the allegations with this one. It's slowly becoming the... We are not white straight men in the group. Okay, just say that, it's easier. We all know what you mean anyway. My goodness. My goodness, Canada is not real. I wish it was not real. But it kinda is, isn't it? Speaking of places that are not real now, this place is real. But it's also really strange. I don't know how to segue this, but I want to have it kinda in the middle of the stream somewhere. So, don't mind me, there's no correlation here, okay? There's actually no correlation. I just needed to jump somewhere, and it happened to be here. Speaking of monkey business, wild chimpanzees recorded waging civil war with coordinated attacks between two groups. This is it. This is it. Planet of the Apes. Monkey business on an island, dispatching Guybrush Threepwood for support. The Monkey Island. You're just in time for the actual monkey business, bastard. Great timing. Monkey Civil War. Instead describes what may be the first case of a unified community of chimps in Uganda, turning on itself. It seems like a joke, but apparently it's real. How is this possible? In a June day in 2015, primatologist Aaron Sandel was clearly observing a small cluster of the Ngogo chimpanzee group in Uganda's Kibale National Park when he noticed something strange. I kill a monkey who starts a war. Donald Trump. Hey, come on, I don't think monkeys are that orange. To be fair, a lot of people just start wars, okay? Oh, fuck, my knee. Ugh. So the members of the chimpanzees weather group moved closer through the forest. Chimpanzees in front of him began to display nervous behavior. They grimaced and touched each other for reassurance, acting more like they were about to meet the strangers than close companions. One called the orangutan. It's pretty orange. I guess that is true. I don't know. I think there are worse monkeys in the world than an orange man. And more like they were about to meet strangers than close companions. In hindsight, Sandel said, the moment was the first sign of what would become a years-long bloody conflict between a once close-knit group of chimps. Chimps! They're about to chimp out! I've seen some memes about this, they have been hilarious. Like, ChimpCon 5 instead of DEFCON. That was really funny. Didn't say it, but what a shame. In a new study published this week in the journal Science, Sandel and his colleagues document what may be the first observed civil war in wild chimpanzees. While chimpanzees have long been known to wage campaigns of little aggression on outsiders, witnessing a once unified group through itself is something new and very human. I don't know if it's the same group of monkeys, now that I think about it, but I do remember reading reports, was it like a couple of years ago, like 2023 maybe? Some monkeys, I don't want to say West Africa, but might have been somewhere else, were starting to use tools. That sounds a bit scary, not gonna lie. Are they gonna be smarter than us? Is this actual Planet of the Apes? Monkey together strong! Take me back, I wanna be monkey. Guess where neighbors are killing neighbors is more troubling and, in a way, it gets closer to the human condition. How do we have this seeming contradiction within us, where we are able to cooperate, but then also very quickly turn on one another? Sandel said, well, when you have a complex mentality, why I say complex and mean more complex than a basic animal, a lot of frictions can come up, like, what are the proper ways of actually surviving as a group? Or how to conduct the grouping itself. So that's gonna create friction, it's gonna create aggression and violence, because that's usually how these things end. The shifting group identities and dynamics that we see in human civil war really have a parallel in other animals, but they have a parallel in the case of chimpanzees. The researchers drew more than 3 decades of behavioral observations of the well-studied group of chimpanzees to determine the permanent split in the largest known group of wild chimpanzees in the world. While chimps have been socially cohesive from at least 1995 until 2015, something shifted in the group's dynamics. By 2018, 2 distinct groups had emerged: the Western chimps and the Central chimps. I guess that can also happen when the group gets really big. It is really impossible to manage. Also happens with companies, for example. Maybe not the best example, but I've seen a lot of monkeys in companies too. As the group solidified, members of the Western group made 24 sustained and coordinated attacks on the Central one in the 7 years that followed, killing at least 7 adult males and 17 infants. Wait, hold up. I know these are chimpanzees. Are these guerrilla tactics? I think it's meant to be guerrilla tactics, but still. It's guerrilla warfare, right? Don't know what it actually entails. I do believe that's really American. Scientists think that a similar rupture in civil war may have occurred in the 70s within the chimpanzee group in Gombe. With an M instead of an N. Gombe is the Japanese name for munchlax. Has nothing to do with this. I guess it's kind of a monkey, maybe. Gombe mentioned. Tanzania, observed by the renowned primatologist Jane Goodall. But at the time, our basic understanding of chimpanzee behavior was too limited to fully appreciate the variety of in-group violence. In the case of the Ngogo chimps, changing social hierarchies may bring the group's fracture, researchers said, producing organized aggression and violence. Alain Sandler observed the chimps acting strangely in 2015. Earlier that morning, the group's alpha male had granted submission to another chimpanzee, and the group's social structure had also been affected by the death of several key older individuals in the years that preceded the division. Interesting. They're just like us! Their about death likely weakened connections among the neighborhoods, which then made the group vulnerable to the polarization that happened when the alpha change occurred, Sandler said. Then there was also the disease outbreak in 2017, probably made the split inevitable or expedited it sadly. Change in alpha change. That's really human. That happens a lot in human settlements, doesn't it? I'm thinking humans are a little bit more nuanced, but humans are actually really simple too. That should cause work for ape conservation as chimpanzees are threatened with extinction. They stated out that, based on genetic evidence, the civil wars among chimpanzees likely only occur every 500 years. But any human activity that disrupts social cohesion, deforestation, the climate crisis, or disease outbreaks could make such intergroup conflicts more common, Sandler said. Climate crisis. They kept saying that it's not what you think it is. There are normal fluctuations in the climate itself. I'm starting to see again some, maybe not tweets, but just reports that we're actually moving towards an ice age. But I thought it was global warming. You thought wrong, maybe. Everything just to push for their strange green policies that don't actually work. I do remember. Wait, that was also a tweet that was running around recently, right? How every single prediction for the climate since, I don't know, the 70s, the 90s maybe, was actually true and real. And I'm like, no it isn't. No it isn't. We were promised insane floods everywhere, like a decade and a half ago. It didn't happen. Why are you lying to me? Why are you lying to me? And they keep running with us like, oh, this is the end is near. God damn it. At least golders are fun to look at. The Devil Lord is coming! That's much more cool than, oh, the water's rising. It's not. It's not really. Oh boy. As it showcases a great ignorance from people that talk about these things. But you see, when the glaciers finally melt, water levels are gonna go up. And I understand they have inland masses of ice, but the biggest amounts of ice are underwater. You know what happens when the ice melts? It doesn't expand. It reduces its size. When it freezes, it becomes bigger. So no, I don't think the water levels are really going to rise. Not that much at least. Maybe we can sacrifice Denmark. Maybe it's not that bad after all. Maybe the Netherlands too. Ah, but the cookies are fine. They also have wheat, which I don't really care about, but still. And there was a video of a monkey operating in AK-47, it's quite funny. Have you seen the? I have seen that one. It's kind of old. But yeah, maybe you shouldn't give a gun to a monkey. It might be able to use it. Might not be a good idea. You're not bulletproof yet. Good ability. Where I was here. Brian Wood, a evolutionary anthropologist at the University of California, Los Angeles, has also stated the Ingo chimpanzees, but was not involved in the new research. It was important to consider that what one group has to gain by attacking its former community members. Speaking of monkeys using tools, I just remember, I don't know if it's AI or not, it was in passing. I've also seen a monkey riding a dog. Have they discovered mounts? They are too powerful. They have to be destroyed. By having AI, because it seemed a little bit too funny. But hey, if animal go fast and you get on top of animal, you go fast too. Horses, am I right, fellas? The theory of their winning fitness, a measure of how successful an animal is in passing its genes. You can increase their winning fitness by increasing your own survival, increasing your reputation, or by decreasing the survival and reputation of your competitors, Wood said. And that's what the Western chimps have done. The Central chimps, after facing the onslaught of the Westerners, they had the lowest survivorship that has ever been documented in the wild chimpanzee community. That's a little bit too pragmatic, too utilitarian even. Stephen Lemoine, a professor in biological anthropology at the University of Cambridge, said, and we had the first thoroughly reported case of what can be qualified as civil warfare in the species. It shows that, even in absence of cultural group markers, social ties and network connectivity are the cement of group cohesion, and that these ties can be fragilized in specific circumstances, especially when they rely on few individuals. After I've read this, I don't think this is that surprising. Maybe calling it a cyber war and having actual coordinated attacks, sure, that's somewhat impressive. But this is just tribal warfare. It happens in animals all the time, right? I'm pretty sure you can also see that on, like, wolves, for example. Don't think it's that insane. But I guess wolves try to not get into other tribes' territory to avoid conflict, which is pretty understandable. You don't want to fuck around and maybe lose some of your tribe members. That's gonna lose your survivorship, of course. But at points, it has to happen. Thought it was funny because monkey civil war anyway. It is funny. It is funny to think about. God, this one is gonna sound really racist. When I jump to the next thing. It's not on purpose, okay? If anything, I wouldn't be calling monkeys to anyone but the government in this case, okay? Don't mind me. Don't mind me. But speaking of monkey business, hey, how about Germany? Crazy. Syria has rejected Germany's plan to send over 700,000 refugees home. I've seen this one before. I don't think the German solution is the best, but I guess it works. Don't want to see that one. Don't want to see that one. Also, I don't know how they can just reject their own citizens. I don't know if that makes any sense. But it's just Germany, right? They're just a bunch of cogs. So of course, we also have this one. This is just from yesterday. I couldn't believe it when I read it, but it's apparently it's similarly real. Germany could bar AFD politicians from buying property. This is the right-wing party. They're calling them a bunch of extremists. They're against the Constitution. It's usually a bunch of lies. It's usually these quote-unquote extremists. They're the first ones that want to protect the actual Constitution. Also, once to change the Constitution is not illegal. You have amendments. It's been the case since, I don't know, but it's common. It's a common thing you can do. Well, maybe not common, but it's something legal you can do when you have a Constitution. God, it would be such a menace if I had hand tracking. Fear me. Your proposals include granting local authorities the right to stop individuals deemed anti-constitutional from purchasing real estate in their municipalities. Deemed, by the way. Germany's Construction Ministry has proposed an extraordinary piece of draft legislation that would give local authorities the power to block property sales to individuals deemed enemies of the Constitution, with the proposal tucked away inside a much broader package of planning reforms. You cannot tell me this is not literally a social credit score. I've been mentioning this for years. It's been actual years, more than 2 at this point in time. It was at least early 2024 when I started talking about this, I think. I could be wrong, I don't think I am. With a bunch of strange banking staff and whatnot, and now with the massive control they want to add with digital euro, digital IDs, so on and so forth. Also HID and just ID checks in general for social media and such sites. You're gonna do what the government says, or else. Do you like China, China, China? You better, because this is becoming China. And not the fun kind of China, where you have strange wars in the Three Kingdoms. If only. Hey, where's Cao Cao? Not here. Oh, Cao Cao, save me. It's the only one I remember. That's why I always mention Cao Cao. Never got into the Three Kingdoms stuff. You will kowtow, or you will not be able to own property, and soon you will not be able to work even. Just like China. It's not by mistake, it's by design, because these bureaucrats love China. They love how China works. Because the government is absolute, the government can do anything. So, if you limit the actual freedoms of the population, you can just manage the country as it's meant to be run, like a company. You'll make the changes that you want, because you know what's best for the country itself. Despite the country itself being the population, no, it's the machine that runs the economy for these individuals. You can also see that in the US nowadays to some extent too. Not quite the same, but there are some similarities, especially with immigration and stuff. Oh, but it's so good for the economy. Yeah, for a grand scale economy if you're just investing into bullshit. But for most people, it's a massive detriment. Let's keep reading. The suggested measure can be found deep within a 174-page draft titled The Deal of Modernization of Urban Planning and Regional Planning Legislation. Fucking omnibuses. I hate them. Put forward on April 2nd by Minister of Housing Verena Hubberts. Publicly, however, the focus of the bill has been rooted as addressing familiar concerns common to many European jurisdictions. Speeding up house building, modernizing planning processes, and helping municipalities manage growth. Oh, there's not enough housing! Boy, do I have a solution for you. It's just the fix everything button. I can press it, but it doesn't work! I don't really have the power to press it. That's the main problem. Ms. Everts, member of the Social Democratic Party of Germany, SPD, as Special Defense, described the reforms as a way to make planning law more responsive, saying the building code shapes good housing, safe places, and a lively neighborhood. No translation here and hereafter. And the proposed changes will prioritize new construction, cut through digital bottlenecks, and give municipalities increased authority to repurpose derelict property. That's actually really funny, and that's something I would like to know more about. Because something that happens in China too, in this regard, is that the government comes in and the government says, you know what? We're gonna build a huge skyscraper here. We're gonna build a highway here. There's a bunch of houses. Yes, but the government is authoritarian, so they can do it, and they can repurpose everything. Or they can just, how do they call it? They can expropriate everything, and they will do it. Because for them, building these skyscrapers, these highways and whatnot, it's really important. And I do wonder if Germany is trying to implement something like that. Hello, hey, how you doing? Skyraf, we're yapping today about current events and how Germany is an absolute hellhole. Ah, Germany. The minister has made much of these uncontroversial proposals, highlighting a streamlined change of use, faster environmental assessments, and improved digital systems. Ah, yes, Deutschland. What they do draw attention to is the laws that would allow municipalities to step into property transactions on political grounds. That's a bit strange. Where are you from? A Nordic country, perhaps? That's a secret for everybody. I will not tell. I will tell you that I'm European, but I will not tell you from. Officially stated, I am from the Twilight Realm, that lies within sleep and reason. I do enjoy people trying to pinpoint my accent. I don't think it's a really good accent, and I don't think it's actually characteristic of the place I'm from. But it's funny to see. Where was I? Here. There we go. Under that provision, casters would gain a right of first refusal where property is about to be sold to someone who may use it for quote-unquote activities directed against the free democratic basic order. That sounds really good, but what does this mean? They keep using democratic as a shield, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe Swiss, or Nordic, or Dutch. Hey, you know what they say. I dislike two things. People that hate other because of the place they were born, and the Dutch. That's from Austin Powers, right? Of course, I cannot confirm nor deny any allegations. I guess I can also mention, I'm obviously ESL. I make mistakes all the time. My line was in quotes. There, right here. Yeah, they keep using democratic as some sort of shield. But then again, oh come on, I can guess. That's part of the fun, isn't it? At some point it will be known, I'm pretty sure. I've made a couple of mistakes here and there. But I don't think people have realized East Germany was the Democratic Republic too. That's a good point. I don't think there was a lot of democracy in East Germany or North Korea, for example. There's also these strange cases in the EU in general, right? Like Romania. I think it was the case March last year, if I'm not mistaken. They had elections, but they won. The party, the EU coalition, didn't like, ended up winning, and they were like, you know what? It doesn't count. So much for the will of the people. I do remember when I called the EU the Fourth Reich back in the day. It hasn't gotten any better. Actually, Democratic makes it sound better. They just cancelled it because people voted wrong. More Russian interference proof? TikTok posts. Yeah, they love using the Russian interference. And from what I've seen of actual Russian elections, whatever you might think of Russia, whatever you might think of them, they appear to have some of the most legit elections, at least in the quote-unquote West. They're still kind of Western, despite some of their connections and some of their conflicts. We'll not go into that, because I actually don't know enough to make proper calls. The warning is drawn from Germany's constitution and is mostly heard in political debate about the far-right alternative for Deutschland, alternative for Germany. Thankfully, the name is really easy to understand. And the country's largest opposition party, which some critics have accused of using rhetoric that anchors Germany's National Socialist past. Oh boy, not the Nazis, the far right, not like this. It's hilarious. I laugh. Yes, I have to add it every single time. They do. It is insane to me. I laugh a lot when, especially in the European Union or Europe in general, because the UK is not any better. They just call everything far right. Oh my goodness, it's awful. Single time, no, it's far left or even left wing. That's kind of the point. When you see, you don't understand. Bernie Sanders in the US, if he was in Europe, he will be right wing. Bernie Sanders, the socialist, right wing? I don't know about that one. And so, of course, everything that's actual, maybe close to actual right wing, not even far right. There's actual far right as a concept, but I don't think any of these parties are actually far right. Oh my god, they're so extremist. And they're like, okay, you see the positions? Social Democrats from the 90s. What? Everything I said, the global home agenda is far right from their point of view. It is. As a lot of people say nowadays, right? Everything to the right of Mao is just far right. And it's kind of funny when you see some of the memes, because I do believe they truly explain in a great way the problem with these actual left extremists. It's just a matter of perception. Wow, the center and the far right, they're so close together. No, it's you. You yourself, you are so far away I cannot see you. I can't see you. We seem close by comparison, but it's not real. Yeah, no news are using these terms because they drive the clicks. Of course they do. It's everything about the clicks, which is so annoying. I was doing a tirade about rage bait before. I don't want to do that again. It's just explosive. And you're like, dude, how do you call some people like myself? I don't think I'm right wing. I actually don't think I'm right wing. With the current definition, I probably am, but with the actual true definition, I don't think it would be right wing. I would be outside of the axis. I'm just outside of human comprehension most of the time. I try to be pragmatic about things. But you have people that want good economy, strong borders, little immigration, and did I say good economy again? I think it's very important. I guess social cohesion maybe. You call them extremists. You can't do that. You need those to have an actual functional country. I don't think I'm insane when I say this. Nowadays, I would be considered insane by many people, but that only means I'm right. Political federalism is basically astrology. It is. It's also this strange necessity we've seen since the early 2010s. Everything needs to have a name. Everything needs to be a tag of sorts. Because everything is just identitarian. Everything is just tribalistic. I don't fucking care. I just don't care. You can give me a bunch of, buzzwords. But that doesn't inform me of who you are or what your actual ideas are. I don't care. That's why I yawn all the time when you see the people, but they're racism. I don't care that these people are from the Middle East, they're black, or they're Chinese. I care about the amount of immigration and the amount of crime, because it affects society. Why is it important? Because society is everybody. Even we, living in the fringes of society. We, meaning me and somebody else like me. Don't know if it's your case or not, obviously. It's not about the skin color. No, it never was. It's just it's a pretty useful shield. The same thing with Hollywood and the likes, right? Discrimination bad in your country? Yes, it's pretty bad. It's getting worse. It could be any country in Europe, thankfully. It's not giving myself away. I shouldn't be laughing, but still. I need to blow my nose. I'm gonna be mute for a second. Oh, way better. Way better. Not really. Not Poland or Hungary or Russia. Yeah, I guess that is true. That might change, especially with Hungary. I think they have elections soonish, maybe. And they don't like. What's the name of the president? I kind of forgot. Elections are tomorrow. I thought it was later this year. Whoa, that's a little bit scary. They don't like. Orban. I was thinking. I know it's not Erdogan. That's Turkey. Orban. The EU doesn't like Orban because he says no to a lot of their bullshit. So I wonder what's gonna happen with that. I don't think it's a really interesting country. Looks pretty nice, despite the language being rather unique. There's no counterbalance in the EU. Also, the Italian president, Meloni, was meant to be counterbalanced. Don't have me talk about the women. She's not such a strong politician as she should be, in my opinion. Well, a lot of these influencers from news agencies have been smearing him with articles and hit pieces, of course. Yeah, I have seen. My mom talks to me a lot about that stuff. She's more tuned to the EU part of news. I usually go into global stuff because I just get into the Anglosphere, which is mostly American or related to. We were here. To Salvador to intervene, municipalities will be able to seek information about prospective buyers from Germany's domestic intelligence agency, the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution. Do I venture trying to say this? Verfassungsschutz? I tried. As well as the Federal Criminal Police Office, Department of the Intelligence Service, which sits under the Interior Ministry, police intelligence assessments, and by station executive judgment, close to decisions that would directly affect private transactions. If they're private, why did you get your grimy hands there? It's a bit strange. They're in governments, after all. Perhaps more striking still is how the draft defines the conduct in question. The activities don't need to be illegal. The slippery slope. I thought it didn't exist. What's going on here? They're described as active measures, not necessarily militant or unlawful. They're capable of having political consequences over time. Political consequences that you don't like. I swear, there has to be something strange in the soil in Germany. Because their politicians, their people in general, they just look insane to me all the time. And I thought Angela Merkel was bad. I clearly haven't seen anything yet. Holy shit. In other words, the trigger for intervention could rest on anticipated political impact rather than established wrongdoing. Saying in that light, the proposal would give municipalities a right to belong sales based on who the buyer is and what they are thought likely to do, rather than on conventional planning considerations. It's not difficult to see how that could, in practice, amount to form political interference in the hitherto apolitical housing market. What they are thought likely to do. This phrasing here, in my opinion at least, is trying to give the idea, they're extremists, so they might be terrorists. But no. If anything, maybe not just the members, but also the militants of these right-wing parties are non-aggressive, non-violent, and they're usually the ones that actually take damage themselves. I've seen that happening here for some years already. Look at them! Oh, they're so aggressive, they're so violent. They are the only ones getting hit. By you people. Huh, so strange, I hate the media so much. I mean, oh my god, it's been a while since we've seen one of those machine demons. Bots on Twitch, more likely than you think. Oh boy. Last time I got caught by the automat. It didn't happen this time. That's weird. The well political backdrop makes the provision harder to separate from ongoing debates about the AFD's status. I do believe they want to make this party completely illegal? I don't think that's fair. Elements of the SPD and elsewhere have long argued that the party should be formally designated anti-constitutional. Sadly what I meant. That it could ultimately support the ban under Germany's basic law. Of course, the draft law concerns real estate rather than the banning of political parties, but would create a mechanism that operates in the same conceptual space. It's so funny. It's so funny in a really negative way, of course, but it's so funny. How, see? They act like the Nazis. They are so extremist and they are so evil. What do? We ban the opposition. We are the good guys, therefore we ban the opposition. We are the party of the good people, therefore everybody else is evil, and they shall be burned. Maybe not burned, but certainly not platformed. Man, the most popular opposition party. And it is popular for a reason. I do remember that that event was last year, maybe? I don't think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, they're supposed to be the baddest, yeah? They had this, some sort of march. It was not even a march. It was some sort of outdoors event for the AFD. And they got attacked at knife point by some sort of immigrant lunatic. Oh, you see, it's your fault. It's your fault for getting attacked. Victim blaming. See? What do you expect if you're wearing those dirty clothes? You filthy nationalist. My goodness. And I don't know if it was the same case or not, but somebody got shanked, the police arrived, and they were trying to immobilize the person that got attacked, and the guy with the knife shanked the police guy in the head. That's nasty. I don't think the police is important, but I do think the police is really corrupt, at least nowadays. The attack in Mannheim. Yeah, that one. I think it was that one. I think I'm mixing two of them. Germany, I think. It was Germany. It was Germany for sure. I do remember that. It was a thing. It was a thing that happened, for sure. Mark Bernhard, the AFD's parliamentary spokesperson on construction, was quick to condemn the proposal, describing it in his statement as unconstitutional extremism by the SPD. Not wrong, and argued that it will allow the state to act against lawful political activity before any offense has been committed. Once again, we are the party of the good guys, therefore, if you oppose us, you shall be destroyed. And if the proposal coincides with the rise in the AFD's fortunes and the 2025 federal election, the AFD secured just under 21% of the vote. It's kinda low in my opinion, cementing its place with the largest opposition party. Ah yeah, of course, it's Europe. Why do I forget? It's the same here, it's coalition politics. Just there's not enough right-wing parties, actual right-wing parties. A lot of the right-wings are just about globalism. Why are you people like this? Why are you people like this? It's never enough. Even if it's followers only, 6 minutes golden, I still get insane people. Insane people spamming my kick chat. Ah, so annoying. Oh, excuse me. Oh, fuck. And dang. Dang here. Okay, everything is fixed. Everything is fixed. Everything is fine. You must be from one of the northern countries. Well, some people have said that before. Looking at me directly, so I don't know if that is true or not. I've been called a Viking before too, if you care about that. Christian Paul suggests it has aged ahead of the governing Christian and Democratic Union, CDU, with support of around 26% compared with the CDU's 25%. When the provision survives intact as the bill moves through the Bundestag, remains to be seen. Even in draft form, it suggests the willingness to push existing constitutional concepts into areas, including property and planning, where they have not traditionally been applied, and decisions about how... That's not how, that's true. About who can buy certain properties, will no longer turn solely on price and planning law, but also in an assessment of political conduct and belief, made in part with input from the state's domestic intelligence apparatus. It's the opposition that acts as the Nazis, but it's the actual government that's controlling the market, while literally controlling the market in this case. Insane. Insane. Just in general, insane. I just keep rubbing my temples because I just don't understand how this could be happening. Germany, I suppose. They are creating... How do we call them? Weimar conditions. You know, you don't want to see what's coming after. Speaking of more insane law happenings here, it's not just Germany. It's just happening everywhere in the West. I saw this, and even though I didn't really cover this when it happened, I know I mentioned it in passing a list. This pisses me off. This pisses me off a lot. Crazy homeless man accused of slaughtering a rhinoceros on train found incompetent to stand trial. But he's competent enough to be just around, stabbing more people. This was like his 15th arrest at the very least. He is still out. He is still out and about. If they're incompetent to stand trial, they are not fit for society. He has been found incompetent? Yes, I'm afraid so. I heard they may do that, but yep, activist judges, they keep just letting these insane criminals free. I'm sorry, if they cannot be put to trial, you have to do something with them, because they clearly cannot be put in society back. Okay, he was fit to stand trial 14 other times before. Well. Now there are too many eyes on this case, therefore they need a stronger excuse. The ranch harmless man accused of essentially butchering Irina Sorotsky, a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, on a Charlotte light rail train has been found incapable to proceed on state murder charges. So yeah, this is really funny. It's really funny to, we stand with Ukraine. Slava Ukraine or something like that is the slogan. But you see, this chick, despite being a Ukrainian refugee, she happened to be white enough. She is too white. She is too white. Therefore, it's only natural this happened. And even saying what would have happened if the colors were reversed, we all know. We all know. It's insane racism, as usual. Not the traditional one. So we don't stand with Ukraine anymore, because this homicidal individual just happened to be black. Cool. It's not because he is black, the problem here is that he's been killing non-stop. According to motion filed April 7th, the Carlos Brown Jr. was evaluated December 29th at Central Regional Hospital, and the subsequent report determined he was not competent to stand trial, according to WBTV. Not quite sure what that is. Let me close that. The attorney has asked the court to delay his competency hearing by 180 days. The results were previously sealed in a state court were only revealed as the motion was filed. So in instance of these people stabbing others by saying the N-word and getting away with it. Yes, there was a case. I remember that somebody got stabbed. The stabbed person said the N-word back at them. No, not backwards, of course. Back at them. And they used that as a defense. But this person said the N-word. Yeah, okay, but first of all, saying the N-word is not opening the door for you to just stab people just because they say something you don't like. But it was said after the fact. But then again, these judges, they just don't care. It's more than that. It's not that they don't care. It's that they hate you. They actively hate you. So of course they leave these people free, so they can keep killing. Free speech. Used to be. The liberals believe in that. Liberals. Liberal. Ah, boy. I like that Alex Jones clip. It's funny. It's pretty funny. Oh, boy. Hold up. Fuck. Oh. I have to stretch a little bit. I've been shrimping too much here. My back, it's not what it used to be. I'm old. Getting old. The Republic will rise again! 1776 will commence again! Yeah, I do appreciate a lot that from Americans. Their just extreme freedom, extreme free speech, their rebel spirit. I do find that really, really compelling. We're going to disagree with some stuff, but I think that's normal. I don't know if they read this, I don't think I did. Prosecutors did not object to the requested 180-day delay of Brown's Rule 24 hearing. I mentioned before Rule 34, caught me a little bit off guard, this one. It was previously scheduled for April 30th, which will determine whether he is fit to proceed with a potential death penalty trial. You can only hope. Brown is also facing federal charges and will remain in custody on that case, his lawyer Dino Roberts said. Judge must not determine whether to accept the report findings, and the case against him will likely be delayed until his capacity is determined to be restored by the court, the station reported. So it's not actually confirmed, it's being used as, yeah, this person is not fit. Now they need to actually confirm it, which there's still a small opening for actual justice to prevail. In the motion filed by Brown's Republic defender, he claimed the court required capacity hearing cannot take place with the accused killer in federal custody, but the court also can't order to have his capacity restored. If he just agrees Brown is incompetent to stand trial, still Lawman days, the charges should be dismissed. How do you dismiss these charges? If it was petty theft or just street violence, maybe. He just got a shiv, he shanked the woman, and he was like, I just got that white bitch. I think you can dismiss that. I've also seen some meme responses about this article. People saying, you know what happens when something like this occurs? Lynching. You don't want to say that. You don't want to say lynching. I don't think that's a good way of getting justice back into your hands. I understand that we live in really unreasonable times, sadly. However, the judge issues the ruling without prejudice. Still more, the charges could be refiled if he ever regains his capacity to be tried. Similar situation happened in the Tar Heel state in 2020 when murder charges were dismissed without prejudice against Buford James Penley. Buford? Got a name you see a lot. After he was determined to be incompetent by multiple psychologists, including one who worked for the DA's office. Okay, yeah, this follows a little bit more. Under North Carolina law, a defendant is deemed capable to proceed to trial if they can understand the nature and object of the proceedings, comprehend his or her situation in reference to the proceedings, and assist in his or her defense in a rational or reasonable manner. He has been in federal custody in Chicago since a grand jury indicted him on October 22nd for violence against a railroad carrier and mass transportation system causing death. He faces state charges of first-degree murder. Yeah, I don't think such charges should be just dismissed. Oh, look. She's not capable of understanding good from bad, and that's how Roman law just goes completely out of the window. He's been ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation pursuant to his federal case, but court filings filed by the island last month show it hasn't been completed, and the evaluation period has been extended. Other reports that restoring competency can take a long time in North Carolina because of limited space in state psychiatric facilities, if they have any still. Another big problem of modern society. And said it's not uncommon for defendants to wait a year or more for a bed to open up. Brown 35, whose mother told the powers is schizophrenic, was arrested at least 14 times in North Carolina for crimes ranging from assault and firearm possession and felony robbery dating back to 2007. I wish to believe this schizophrenia, how do you call this? Words, what do they mean? Happens to me sometimes. I want to believe this guy is actually schizophrenic. I don't think there's any reason not to believe that. If that's the case, and he's going in violent sprees, as we've seen since 2007, how is it possible he is free and he is not in just a padded room for society and for his own good? We've been led to believe that maybe psychiatric facilities are so evil and so many problems with mental health, because that's something you see a lot today too. Won't anybody think about mental health? Yes, I do. But there are not enough facilities to actually help the people that need the help. It's not just about, I saw a TikTok and now I'm depressed. That's not it. Time of the senseless attack in late August, he was free on cashless bail after a magistrate released him with the written promise to show up for court after placing a bogus 911 call. The horrifying cut on camera slaying became national news. International news, I would say, thanks to the likes of X, formerly Twitter, and prompted President Trump to call for Brown to face the death penalty and federal murder charges. 2 months after the attack, North Carolina Governor Josh Stein signed a Reynolds law which prevents cashless bail for some violent crimes and repeat offenders and improves checks on criminals released on bail. I mean, it's a good step. I don't know if it's good enough, but it's a step. In the video, Brown is seen seated on the train before surgical boards, and no one thinks to see it in front of him. Brown lungs tucked beneath the black baseball cap from Zippy's Pizza, not quite zappily, part of her work uniform. and she busies herself with her phone, completely unaware of the danger lurking inches behind her. I hate to say this. But a true racist would be alive. A true racist would be alive. That's not the society you want to live in. Brandon falls a pocket knife before looming over her and brutally stabbing her several times in the neck. In the cowardly sneak attack. Jessica's face contorted into a haunted look of horror as she bled out into the train. Her face is just horrifying. I've seen the video several times. I do not recommend people to watch it, really. It is really that bad. I would say that Charlie's is even worse, but it's not a competition. Standards barely seemed to notice the horrifying scene, and no one stepped up to render aid. Some people have said there was not really any aid that could be given at that point in time. And given the location of the stabbing, I could agree to that by just being like, yeah, you know what? Sure, I don't even want to get close. It's not the kind of society you want to live in. I'm not saying that you need to sacrifice yourself for your fellow citizens. Only a small amount of people could do something like that. I do appreciate the efforts from the soldiers and all that, okay? I think it takes a lot of balls to do something like that. But nobody even tried anything. That's an extremely broken society you live in. It's so bad. She didn't know what hit her awful. Long shift at some fast food restaurant or something on her way home, yeah? Yeah. After stabbing, Brown can be seen meandering through the link's blue line train as a trail of blood drops forms behind him. Oh, I was chugging there. He was arrested at the scene a short time later. There was a check last January. Brown asked cops to investigate a man-made material inside his body that was controlling his actions. According to an affidavit obtained by the Charlotte Observer, I'd scald the brain, pal. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. Saying something like this is extremely disappointing. Not really surprising, sadly, but extremely disappointing. After Irina's death, after Irina's killing, after Charlie's killing, nothing has really happened. Nothing has really changed. If anything, things have gotten worse. Because, oh, you don't want to see what's coming. Nothing is coming. Nothing came. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Sure, there's Tyler Robinson being in custody and whatever, but we'll see about that. There's an insane amount of conspiracy theories about the Charlie stuff. But these criminals keep killing. The governments keep importing. I know I'm missing different stuff here. But I do believe everything is related. You have governments just importing millions of people from outside. Especially in Europe, there are just insane criminals. The worst criminals. They are not even allowed to be free in their countries of origin. But if you question it, you're the bad guy. If you say, hey, maybe this is bad, maybe just these insane increases in violent crimes, murders, rapes, robberies, assaults, whatever. Maybe that's bad. There's a really strong correlation with that and the insane increase on immigration. I'm not saying this guy is an immigrant, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just mixing comorbidities for crime. To explain that so people understand properly what I'm trying to say. But justice is never enacted against the actual victims. You have to coddle this individual seen as quote-unquote weak, seen as quote-unquote oppressed. What about the people that are actually dying? What about the kids that are getting raped? Because kids are getting raped in Europe. Have you seen the rape rates in London? It's insane. It keeps happening, and it's not stopping. And the governments say, you're being racist. You're the bad guy because you're racist. We need more immigration. No, you don't. You don't need more immigration. You don't need more criminals. What you need is more justice. And I envy a lot the US because at least for now, they still have the Second Amendment. They can still wield weapons and they can still defend themselves. not quite the same. In other countries, they're not as lucky. You will see insane criminals using weapons no matter what. See, using a weapon is illegal. Maybe I cannot shank this woman. Maybe I cannot shoot this podcaster. Maybe I cannot rob this store. That's not how it works. They are criminals. Well, if I'm already a criminal, who cares about anything? But you cannot protect yourself. I don't know how you fix this. On an individual level, I don't even think you can. But I do need people to understand they need to protect themselves. Be called a racist, end up in jail if need be, but don't let yourself get killed. Not saying you need to be violent, but you need to protect yourself as best as you can be. The thing is, when dogs attack humans and kill them, they're put down, regardless of the fact that the case can be made. The dogs directly might not be able to realize what they did. Some don't. I can tell you some don't. There's a lot of strange stuff too about it's pit bulls, right? Yeah, the pit bulls. They have really strange wiring in their brains and all that. I understand this is the same in humans, but clearly there are also deranged humans. You know what they did in Scotland? They gave personal alarms, the only legal self-defense tool, to the schoolgirls. That law didn't stop them, and now if law won't either. Yeah, pretty much. I don't think alarms are necessarily bad, but they are not enough. If you see an insane individual running at you with some sort of knife or machete, or even worse, a gun, what are you supposed to do? What are you really supposed to do in a legal way? Well, legally speaking, you're meant to run away and call the police. But, as they often say, the police is minutes away when seconds matter. Can we go back? Can we go back? We need to go back in time, back when we could use swords. I'm a big fan of swords, I'm a fucking nerd. I understand that guns are powerful, and I don't disagree that especially women should be able to carry guns. Because they're obviously more vulnerable, because overall they're weaker than men. But let me tell you, at least in Europe, I'm not quite sure about the US. The US has other problems for violence. But at least in Europe, I think these individuals will be just running around, just wielding their bladed weapons around. If they knew there would be consequences to their actions, actual consequences, I don't think so. Not all of them at least. Some of them would because holy war, jihad and all that, but still. Boy. The only thing you can really do, if you're gonna use weapons, is to become strong yourself. Strange metagame we live here. The monk class happens to be the best. Oh, what is going on? So strange. What do we have? I guess we can decompress a little bit. It's been way too serious and way too insane for the last couple of articles here. Let us go to Gen Z, shall we? We have this one about AI. Yes, the workers are so fearful AI will take their job, they're intentionally sabotaging their company's AI rollout. It's a difficult situation no matter how you got it, right? I don't think it's AI is just the cure-all that they're telling you just yet. I think it has a lot of potential, and it will be really useful eventually. But not quite right now. I think there are other problems Gen Z may have with current working conditions too. They were probably promised great success, and nothing happened because the economy is gigafucked. Just trying to clown AI is not the way to go, but I understand it's somewhat easy, or at least on the easier side. Yes, capabilities are growing more sophisticated by the day, and business leaders are rushing to adopt the technology to remain competitive. It's the new thing, so they want to stay ahead. Once again, not as good as you might think, but one obstacle to AI adoption is catching companies off guard, their own workers. A new report published Thursday from enterprise AI agent firm Writer and research firm Workplace Intelligence finds that a significant share of employees are actively trying to sabotage their company's AI rollout. The report, a survey of 2,400 knowledge workers across the US, the UK, and Europe, including 1,200 C-suite executives, found 29% of employees admitted sabotaging their company's AI strategy. The number jumps to 44% among Gen Z workers. to be fair, there's also a lot of it's a growing not even growing sentiment. It's a pre-established sentiment, especially with younger generations. You see on social media all the time, oh yeah, it's evil because of this and that. There's a lot of ignorance running around, sadly. Like, oh, but they use water. I mean, yes, they use water, but that doesn't really mean what you think it means. The water doesn't get consumed. Just follows the normal cycles of water and all that. And I do agree with some of the grievances too, like higher energy costs, because that's not being paid by the data centers, but by the actual individuals. They're getting price hikes on their energy bills, which is not fair. I read an article about that. Oh, this was months ago already. November, December, something like that. It's been a while. And there's also this thing about that AI is just an immoral use of technology. I'm not quite sure about that. I'm more worried about the quality of the product, and I don't see the quality being all there yet. You will still need human workers, no matter what you do, at least at this point of time, because you need some sort of human mind controlling the output. Sabotage entails entering proprietary information into public AI tools using unapproved AI tools. Are we sure this is on purpose or this is just ignorance? Because we've seen some cases doing something similar to that. Some employees reported trying refusing to use AI tools, others having admitted to tamper with performance reviews, definitely generating low output work to make AI appear less effective. As AI becomes ubiquitous across society, many people are going to hate it. A recent NBC News poll found just 26% of registered US voters have a positive view of AI, while 46% hold a negative view. I can see that happening, but I think we need a little bit more nuance with this. I would like to see the reasonings for the negative view, because I do believe there's a lot of negative consequences for AI. We've been laughing at the boomers. Oh, look at this! This is going on with the current war in, let's say, Ukraine. No, Grandpa, it's Arma 3. It's always Arma 3. Now it's also happening with AI. And you can have strange deepfakes that could get you in big trouble thanks to AI and all that. I understand the issues. But just a blanket 46% here doesn't tell me enough. Meanwhile, business leaders and AI experts have issued successive warnings about the threat AI poses to human workers. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei said AI could snatch half of entry-level white-collar jobs roles many agency workers hold today. Microsoft AI chief Mustafa Suleyman, sounds like a Westerner, issued a similar warning earlier this year, saying all white-collar work could be automated in 18 months. Not all, absolutely not all. I don't believe in 18 months either. Since they mention white-collar jobs, I need to mention the usual. Blue-collar jobs, really important. There are not enough workers on those nowadays. I've seen that very close to here, too. Electricians and plumbers are working like crazy here because there's maybe not growing demand, but maybe stable demand, but you're getting less electricians and less plumbers. So they end up really busy. Are you gonna be rich doing this? Probably not, but you're probably gonna have a pretty reasonable life if you want to get into these jobs. They are pretty important too, right? Electricity, plumbing, construction to some extent too. Yeah, if you don't have those, wow, yeah, tell the AI to fix your clothes toilet. Let's see how that works. Might give you tips at least, but I would say that nowadays actually wouldn't even call it a niche. I'm gonna call it a niche, but there's probably a better word for this. It's a great niche if you're getting into the job market, especially because, let's be real, not everybody is capable of holding a proper white-collar job. Maybe you vibe with metalwork. Yeah, that's cool. That's still necessary. Maybe you should do that. Not everything has to be white-collar. Anthropic study released last month found AI is already theoretically capable of completing the majority of tasks associated with computer science, law, business, and finance, not major white-collar fields. Law? Absolutely not. It was not that long ago. 3 weeks, maybe? Maybe 4. There were about a case that was using AI that was just making up literally everything. AI hallucinates a lot, so I don't think it's really that trustworthy for something like law. It is really good for detection medicine, from what we've seen, which is cool. It's very cool. The others here, probably finance, a positive. Business and computer science, no idea. I'm gonna call that a 50-50. As the fear of AI automation slowly materializes to reality, many workers, including a sizable chunk of Gen Z employees, are pushing back against the assumed doomed fate of their careers. It's not that new that something like that happens, but I guess you expect some job markets to be less volatile than what they actually are. I get the grievances. My employees are sabotaging AI, and why it's backfiring. And those workers who admitted to sabotaging their company's AI technology, 50% cited fear AI would take their job. Fumble. Fear of becoming obsolete is widespread. KPMG similarly found in November 4 4 workers fear AI could take their job. But ironically, the survey found workers who refuse to adopt AI are actually more vulnerable to layoffs than those embracing the technology. It's not about the AI itself, but it's about company culture, I bet. Because you're being a little shitter, which is never good for the company. You're also actually working against the interests of the company, so you might be seen as a bigger liability, despite being potentially highly skilled. 60% of executives said they are considering cutting employees who refuse to adopt AI. Another 28% are concerned about the technology's security risks. 23% think the technology diminishes their creativity or value within the company. 26% cite poorly executed company AI strategy. Yeah, I think that's actually really fair. I've seen many companies just going, oh, yeah, sure, but you don't know what you're doing. Why are you adding AI to everything? Not everything needs AI, let us be real. That seems like a big mistake. Anyway, some companies rushed to implement AI agents, and MIT reports released last year also found 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are failing, not because of the quality of the technology, but the learning gap between tools and organizations. It's not gonna happen because it's really new technology. After all, you see this all the time on social media too. This is just made with AI, you just add a silly little prompt, and that's it. I mean, some minutes-long videos, clearly not the funny haha make me this video, right? Not quite. In its refinement, which it's to be expected. Almost like casting a spell, right? Your prompt is your formula for the spell, in a sense. I think that's pretty cool, at least. And as some employees drag their feet, researchers found the workers actively implementing AI into their workflows are getting ahead. Don Shalville, managing partner of Workplace Intelligence, said AI super users, workers who have mastered generative AI to a high degree of proficiency, have been rewarded for their work more so than laggards. Laggards. Not a word you see a lot. It's kind of cool. I mean, if you work in technology, you need to learn AI, at least to some extent. You don't need to be the strongest wizard, you don't need to be the best at manipulating AI. But you need to understand technology is here to stay. So instead of throwing a tantrum, you need to adapt. I don't know where I got myself into tech, honestly. I don't like changes. Why did I do this to myself? I should be in a cave, making swords. Super users we surveyed were around 3 times more likely to have received both a promotion and pay raise in the past year, compared to employees who have been slow to adopt these tools. Shabbat said in a statement. Top AI users are also saving nearly 9 hours per week using AI. Holy shit, that's a lot! That's actually impressive. Way more than I expected. 4.5 more times than the 2 hours a week reported by AI laggards. Well, that's still a positive, which is not that bad. Statement 77% of executives said those employees who refuse to become proficient in AI won't be considered for promotions or leadership roles, especially leaders aim to steer the companies into the future with AI. That's not where they come from, that might be also a bad idea. can also backfire, because you can also get into the AI bros sphere. They're just selling AI because AI is the new thing. But I'm assuming these are actual workers that know what they're doing with AI. I guess we don't have enough information, which is to be expected. Get to the right on workplace intelligence report. 69%. Nice. I'm planning every little layoffs, but May Habib. Habibi. CEO and co-founder of Ryder said the most successful companies are not relying on layoffs. They're optimizing the balance between agentic AI and human capabilities. The leaders were putting in the work to radically redesigning operations with human-agent collaboration at the center are the ones compounding the advantage in ways competitors can't replicate, Habib said in a statement. This could also be kind of it's shorting after all. This could also be a piece trying to glaze AI, maybe a little bit too much. I don't think AI is serious or anything like that, but maybe you should have some tame expectations, or tamer expectations, like this was Digimon. More Digimon on Wednesday, for sure. Interesting. I mean, I do believe that even in tech, if you want to be more kinetic with your work, you can get a lot of help from AI. Maybe you would need to train your own AI for this, especially not use free models or web models or anything like that. That seems like a big problem, especially for maybe not NDA related stuff, but it's still proprietary code, so there's always gonna be a privacy issue with those. But maybe we'll help you refactor stuff that needs to be refactored. Maybe we'll help you locate possible issues with bugs. Might help you, especially we're talking how to say this, with international expansion as a vision. May help you translate your code to other languages. Just refactor the strings and have the proper translation, so it's released to switch between languages, for example. It's usable. It's usable. That's what I'm gonna say. It's usable. I think it's the devil. I think it's not God either, but I will fight. Not quite the massacre line, but I think that's close enough. And speaking of Gen Z, let us finish for today with something really strange I saw before stream earlier. Gen Z men are eating boy kibble. These ground beef recipes are a step up. Put ground beef together using quick and tasty bulgogi, chili, and stir fry. Bulgogi? I don't know if that's Italian or not. It's hard to tell. I think it's likely. Please don't go eat boy kibble. We have enough problem with the forest already. We don't need to give them any opening for their insane derangement. And I've seen some of the memes in response to this. Call it what it is. This is slop. It might be a slop. I think this is meant to be... Wait, hold up. It's ground beef. Soft, probably... Gai Chow. Ha! I know the memes. Right, just a few months into 2026, and the reign of high-protein meals on social media carries on. In December of 2025, Washington Post staff writer Emily Hale fully leaned into the craze, spending an entire day sampling 3 cans of protein-packed products that have managed to meet the moment, including popcorn, pasta, and even water. Wow, water, yeah, that's pretty good. I like water. Now there's a new protein maxing trend that has become particularly popular with Gen Z men, inspired by dog food. Look, I know I blame the furries. However, I've seen some dog food. It looks really good. If it's good for dogs, might be good for me. All I'm saying. Since February, social media feeds, come on now, 2 on the nose, have been filled with people making what's been dubbed boy kibble. Not like this. Do not bring the forest in. Many of the meals are bare bones made with blank rice and ground beef, and they look a lot like what you might find in Fido's bowl. What's the line? I don't remember. Peace out, Fido! It was not like that. I need to play that game at some point. At its best, the trend has taken a looser meaning, with creators using any form of ground meat and a carb, such as rice, sweet potatoes, or beans. Beans! I'm looking for beans. As a base, we'll sometimes throw in vegetables and basic seasonings into the mix. While these balls are not inherently a novel concept, they're catered to those looking for a fast, cheap, and nutrient-dense way to bulk up. I don't know what you would call this kibble, because it's not actual kibble. Also, don't call it boy, okay? It's Mali. It's brutalistic flavors. Usually, maybe it's just the twink version of Gai Chow. I hope not. But we won't be subscribing to the idea of comparing anything that we eat to dog food anytime soon. With the exception of Puppy Chow, ground beef can be a solid starting point for a quick, nutritious meal. Get some of the favorite recipes from our archives that utilize ground beef, and both nourishing and delicious. So they have the bulgogi, beef stuffed eggplant, too twinkish. Too twinkish! You fucked it. I don't like this. Eggplant? Eggplant? Come on now. What the fuck eats eggplant? I don't think I've ever tried it. Picture of Bob. It's this thing here, I'm assuming. Isn't this kimchi? Maybe? Hold up. Korean staple. I guess so. Traditionally made with steak, this version of the popular Korean staple subs and ground beef for a budget-friendly dinner. I don't know, it seems a little bit too heavy for dinner. I kinda want to talk though. Beef stuffed eggplant. A creative way to serve ground beef. Stuff into the vegetable. Here it's saucy and spiced. Piled high to roast eggplant boats alongside tender vegetables. For the finish, it gets topped with a dollop of yogurt, pine nuts, and parsley. Oh, the yogurt. Eggplant yogurt. Is this a dick joke? I hope not. Not what I'm looking for here. Spicy peanut noodles with ground beef. Is this just everything Asian fusion cuisine here? Fast cooking ground beef gives the spicy noodle dish a protein boost in little time. Next time you're craving something delicious and have only 20 minutes to spare, you'll be thankful with the spicy peanut noodles. Former staff writer Aaron Hutcherson says, I mean, this is not that different from just doing. Hold up, there's a small fly here. I'm gonna get you some point and you know it. But you don't get in front of me. Keeps happening, they're so annoying. It's spring after all, so of course they get happy. It's not quite the bolognese, but it would be something similar. Instead of making the proper Italian bolognese, you just use ground beef with some sort of tomato sauce for spaghetti. It's simple, it's effective, I like it a lot. It works well. Sweet potato and ground beef chili. Yakimo! Chili might break a couple of rules, adding ground beef instead of chunks, along with beans, sweet potatoes, and beer. Beer, beer, beer! But the end result is worth it. I guess, serving ground beef and stir fry. God, that looks like pure lobster right there, my goodness. Well, the beef can a flavorful upgrade into stir fry, which combines crunchy bits of celery with tender ground meat. The best thing about this recipe is there's a genius way to use up that bunch of celery languishing, locking you in your fridge's crisper drawer. Okay, kimbap sandwich, Bombay and sloppy joes. Just have a normal sloppy joe. Not everything needs to be Indian. Kimbap is a popular street food in Mumbai and something compared to the American sloppy joe. It consists of a generous helping of spiced ground meat served in a warm buttered roll. Like a deconstruction of a hamburger, if you ask me. Spicy beef lettuce wraps with oyster sauce. It's truly Chinese. It doesn't look that bad, but I don't know. I think it's just a little bit silly, a bit sloppy. I mean, if it's meant to be similar to sloppy joe, I think it makes sense. Can't really blame it for that one. This family-friendly dish from America's Test Kitchens, the ultimate meal prep cookbook, makes meal planning a bit more fun. It's easily adaptable and takes only about 20 minutes to throw together. It's just beef wrapped in lettuce? I don't know. Like small meatballs? Yeah, I guess so. Meatballs are good. Jamaican spiced beef color wraps. Really good. Will change your mind about colors. I only know about colors. What reader says about this nourishing meal instead of tortillas? Earthy blanched colored greens are used to form wraps that are stuffed with rich Jamaican-style beef and rice. Most of it just feels like strange fusion with Southeast Asia. Gonna lie. I don't know about the color wraps. I don't either. Guess something Jamaican here. What can we get as far as information goes here? Colored! Okay. Colors a group of loose-leaf cultivars of Brassica oleracea, the same species as many common vegetables like cabbage and broccoli. Interesting. It's part of the kale group. That one that looks familiar. So I guess it's similar to kale, or just a sub-breed of kale, perhaps? Fruit tag slash tortilla like rub. For some people, I guess that's good. Never really got into the Mexican cuisine. That thing is for me. Oh, they also have it in Brazil and Portugal. Apparently, that's interesting. Look at inside, but it would have a strange texture. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I would prefer the greens inside too. I think I agree to that one. Yeah, I think it's fair that they call this boy kibble instead of man chow, despite being extremely brutalistic and ground beef based. It's not as brutalistic, I guess. Eggplant and yogurt, come on. If anything, I know this is meant to be ground beef, and I think this is mostly just roasted. But it kinda looks like caramelized onion. Don't know if that's meant to be the case. That was kinda funny, at least. The boy kibble. Yeah, gonna be the twinkest of them all on Discord with that one. That was a good way of decompressing, I would say. Oh, God, I need to stretch properly after this. My shoulders are killing me. Anyway, I think it's time for me to take my leave. With our usual time, a little bit over as usual. I tend to go overtime on Saturdays nowadays. I don't know why. I guess that's fine. We got into a bunch of very strange and serious topics. Before streaming, how often do you go live? I usually go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We usually do some gaming or some random stuff. And Saturdays, usually about this time too, for yapping, news, and all that stuff. Schedule will be up on the community tab later tomorrow when I finish the thumbnails and I prepare Thursday because it's a little bit of a limbo. So, plan for next week. I always say this, despite the schedule always being up. I think it's fair. On Monday, we'll continue Dragon Quest 6. We have the Salty Runback against Mordo. It can be done with the current party at the current level. I just need to switch around a couple of items. It's a pretty difficult fight, but we can do it. And after that, we should be getting the vocation system, which is pretty nice. On Wednesday, we get back to Demon World DS. Trying to keep following the main plot. I did some grinding. I got some more demons, so we have more variety. The new map shouldn't be that difficult right now, which is nice. I will try to do some more side quests. They're not offering me a whole lot, but I can get some equipment for them, which is always nice. And currently, on Thursday, the plan is Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow as Sephiroth. We'll be playing through the Sephiroth ROM hack. I've been feeling too much like the one-winged angel recently, so I guess I need to let loose. And of course, next Saturday, more yapping here, getting caught up with current events and all that nonsense. Throughout the week, I intend to make some stuff from Saturday into highlights as videos. They're not in the schedule, but you can expect in upload, if you're lucky, maybe two. Things that I find to be interesting or worthy. So thank you all for coming. Hope you had some fun despite the seriousness of some of these topics. I think they're really important. I don't want people blackpilling or dooming, but it's really important to know what's going on with the world because, hey, it affects everybody. Better not to get killed. And we're coming back on Monday. Until then, you know the rules. Never despair, never trust the lies, and always stay vigilant. And take care.